In the fifth module of ADM, the next topic to be discussed is basic tools. To develop a software, there involves different stages, and also we use different tools like editors, debuggers, testing tools, etc. In this session, we will talk about some basic tools that supports software development process. Then, what is the importance of tools? It amplifies the talent. The better the tools and the better you know how to use them, the more productive you can be. Now, let us discuss some basic tools. First one, power of plain text. Second one, shells. Third one, editors. Fourth one, debuggers. Fifth one, text manipulation. And sixth one, code generators. Let us see each and every tools in detail. So the first one, power of plain text. As pragmatic programmer, our base material is knowledge. We gather requirement as knowledge and then express that knowledge in our designs, implementation, tests and documents. The best format for storing knowledge is plain text. Then, what is plain text? Plain text is actually made up of printable characters in a form that can be read and understood directly by people. Plain text doesn't mean that the text is unstructured. XML, HTML and HTML are the best example for structured plain text. Here, XML and HTML are markups. Then the files that contain markups are normally considered as plain text. Now, let us see some benefits of plain text. The first one is insurance against obsolescence. That is, human readable forms of data and self-describing data will outlive all other forms of data and the application that created them. That means, once the data has been stored as plain text, it can always be accessed. As long as the data survives, you will have a chance to be able to use it. The next benefit, it is leverage. This point depicts virtually every tool in the computing universe can operate on plain text. Like from source code management system to compiler environment to editors and standalone filters can operate on plain text. Moving to the next benefit, that is easier testing. If you use plain text to create synthetic data to drive system test, then it is a simple matter to add, update or modify the test data without having to create any special tools to do so. This simply means there is no need to create any special tools to add, update or modify the test data which is already created as plain text. Then moving to the next tool, that is shell games. The shell prompt or command line is where one types commands. When accessing the system through a text-based terminal, the shell is the main way of accessing programs and doing work on system. From the shell, you can launch applications, debuggers, browsers, editors and utilities. Also, you can search for files, query the status of system and filter output. Let me explain the easiness and flexibility of using shell prompt over GUI with a simple example. Here our example is find all .c files modified more recently than your make file. So, here our requirement is to find all files with .c extension which is modified more recently than your make file. So well, If you are using GUI or graphical user interface, the process is very lengthy. Like, first you open the Explorer, then navigate to the current directory, then click on Make File and note the modification time, then bring up Tools or Find and enter star.c for the file specification. Here, star.c indicate to list all files which have .c extension. Then select the Date tab and enter the date you noted for the make file in the first date field. Then click on OK. Actually, this is a very lengthy process. But if you are using shell command, the process is very simple and short. You will get the result in one simple command. Then here is the command. Find -name star.c -newer makefile -print and you will get the result in one simple click. Then next tool is Power Editing. Editors play an important role in software development. In coding, documentation, system administration, like all areas in software development, use of editors are very essential. It is better to know one editor very well and use it for all editing tasks. Now let's see some features of editors. The first one is configurable. This means all aspects of editor should be configurable to your preference, including fonts, color, window size and keystroke binding. That is, you can change font color or font size or window size, etc. as you like. Next feature is extensible. An editor shouldn't be outdated just because a new programming language comes out. It should be able to integrate with whatever compiler environment you are using. The next feature is programmable. You should be able to program the editor to perform complex multi-step tasks. And the last feature is productivity. For instances, when you create a new file in a particular language, the editor can supply a template for you. It might include name of the class or module filled in, your name and your copyright statement, skeleton for constructing a language, etc. Let me demonstrate this feature with the help of NetBeans IDE. So, I am selecting NetBeans IDE. I have to create a new HTML file. For that, I am selecting new file. From there, choose HTML file. Next, and name the file as test.html. Then finish. So here you can see the NetBeans IDE provide you a basic HTML template where the default HTML tags like head, title, body, etc. are included. This is what we call the productivity feature. In addition, many editors support features that are specific to a particular programming language, such as syntax highlighting, auto completion, auto indentation, initial code, tie into help systems, IDE-like features, etc. Next, moving to the next tool, that is source code control. Source code control systems or the configuration management systems keep track of every change you make in your source code and documentation. Well, we have already learned version control and the importance of version control in continuous integration environment in previous modules. So, with a properly configured configured source code control system, you can always go back to a previous version of your software. This point defines nothing but the importance of version control. It is very important that there must be a version control or a repository to keep your source code, your documents, configuration files, etc. Then SCCS will let you track changes answering questions such as who made changes in this line of code, what's the difference between the current version and last week's, how many lines of code did we change in this release, which files get changed most often, etc. That is all about SCCS or Source Code Control System. We will discuss remaining two tools in the next video. Thank you.